First love yourself before anyone else. First love yourself by Trinisha Cottrell.
Hi, this is Trinisha Cottrell, and welcome to First Love Yourself, where love, life, and Christ combine. I am so grateful to have you here on this journey of self discovery and empowerment with me. In today's video, we are going to talk about love. But before we get started, if you're new here, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on more uplifting and empowering content like this. Okay, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but the whole thing just malfunctioned on me. But we're back. So today we're going to talk about love. But before we get started, if you're new here, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and stay tuned if you want to learn how to truly love yourself the right way. So get comfortable because we are about to get into it. Let's go. Okay, so earlier today I was reading Acts 4. I'd made it through Romans in the Bible, and in Acts 4 it starts to talk about how Peter and John healed this crippled man, and the high priest and other people in this place, they wanted to try to put charges against them or make them look badly, but the crowd could see the miracles. They could see this man was no longer crippled. They could see the miracle that was performed, and they were professing Jesus Christ. They were professing God. And the whole time the high priest and all his people was hoping that Peter and John was going to back down and just bow to them and just tell them that they're about that life. But the whole time they were about that God life. Peter and John was about God, and they stayed true to their word. They stayed true to making sure that other people knew the gospel and they knew the miracles that was performed through Jesus Christ of Nazareth. They made sure that they gave credit where credit is due. And it really made me think about self-love. It made me think about, do we really truly love God? Do we really truly love ourselves? And I need you to take a second and really think about that. What does the love mean to you? I don't mean loving a pizza. I don't mean loving your favorite TV show. I don't mean, and I'm going to do this because I'm not trying to be that type. You know what? And we're back. Okay, so there was some things I had to take care of. I had to make sure that you guys were getting the best version of me. So I'm looking out for you. So when I was reading Acts 4, it really made me think about how, do we really truly love ourselves the way that Peter and John loved themselves, the way that Peter and John loved God? Because even when everybody else was against them, even when everybody else was trying to tell them what they should be doing and how they should be acting, and wanting them to just fall in line with everybody else, they said, no, I got standards and boundaries. I'm not just about to be like everybody else. I'm not just about to do what everyone else is doing just to please someone else who is in authority. And yes, the Bible does say respect authority, but the Bible does not say be a doorstep. The Bible does not say be someone's floor mat or let people walk all over you and treat you any kind of way. It says that God intended for women to be treated like Christ loved the church, to be loved like Christ loved the church. It's saying that men are supposed to be respected above all else. Now, when you hear that, are you really getting that? Is that something that you really have on your list of things? Like, I hear people got these lists of like 3 pages long of the things that they want, but do you have on your list as a woman, I want to be treated like Christ loved the church above everything else, like above the height, above the weight, above all these other superficial non-core values that other people have? And as a man, is respect at the top of your list, or do you have all these other values that don't mean nothing to life? I mean, they matter. I'm not going to belittle it, but are we really following the principles of having the highest standard for ourselves in the way that God intended? If you really in a rock in a hard place, and somebody like, hey, you really about that God life? Are you gonna be like, yeah, about God? Or are you gonna say, I'm almost about God. Like, I give God this part of me, but I'm not gonna give him fully all of me. And I had to really check myself lately on a few things that I didn't want to let go of. Can I be real with in saying that? Like, I had a couple things on my list that I really was like, after I do this thing, then I'm gonna be sold out for God. And I was like, nah, I can't be like that. I really got to be about this God life. And so God really put me to the test in the past month, showing me that I really need to just give him all of me. I need to stop focusing on idolizing things, which I learned at a seminar a long time ago that idolization is not just money. It's not just the thing that the one thing that everyone talks about as being an idol. It could be your kids, it could be your car, it could be your house, it could be the person that you're with, it could be marriage. Whatever it is that you are putting before God, or you're saying, I can't pray right now because I got to go wash my car. I can't do the things that God intends for me to do because of whatever your excuse is, whatever is pulling you away from time with God is the thing that has become your idol. So you have to ask yourself, am I willing to set aside that thing that matters so much to me, matters more to me than God? And I had to really say, yeah. Like, I've said yeah in the past, but then when God was like, okay, get rid of this thing, I was like, like, can I have like another week? And then but what am I gonna do? And then God had to remind me that he's in control of everything. Like, there's nothing in this world that is more powerful than God. Like, there's no money that's more than what God could give you. There's no car that's better than a car that God could give you. And it's not just about materialistic objects, but it is about knowing and identifying that God is more powerful than anything else in your life. It's time for us to really take a moment and sit down and say, how can I love God better? How can I love myself better? If you are willing to compromise your integrity for anything, then you don't love yourself. I let that sit there because you gotta let it marinate sometimes when things like that be dropped. And so I really want you to take a second and say, do you really love yourself? Do you have a really true, pure hope, respect, and love for yourself? Are you saying that I love my body so much, I'm going to make sure that I feed it right? I'm going to make sure that I do the right things for my body because I want to take care of this temple that God has given me? Or are you saying, oh, no, I'm going to just eat whatever I want because everybody got a time where they're going to go anyways? Like, that might be true. But in the meantime, while I'm still here on this earth, I want to take good care of the body that I have. Does that mean I eat healthy 100% of the time? No. But it's going to look like 80-90% of the time I'm eating good food. I'm eating something that's going to nourish and replenish my body. I'm not just eating junk all day long. And I'm not getting on nobody. I'm just saying this is my preference. And for you, it may look like instead of me choosing pizza today, I'm going to choose a carrot or whatever your healthy food is that you like. Because what really held me up before is people would say all these disgusting foods, like, this is how you got to eat healthy. And I'm like, if it ain't got no flavor, if it ain't no soul at all in this healthy food, there's no way I'm going to sustain this. And that's just me being real. And so I had to really find like little things that I really loved that was healthy so that I could stay on this track. I had to find the fact that I like air popcorn. I might not want all the buttery stuff because I feel horrible afterwards anyway. So I'm gonna air pop it and put a little bit of olive oil spray on it and some Himalayan salt and call it a day. Like, I might not be able to eat regular pancakes, but maybe I can make pancakes with applesauce and some baking powder and cinnamon, vanilla. What else did I put in there? An egg, and then just fry that up with a little bit of maple syrup on it. And I'm not just eating a cup of maple syrup. I'm eating like maybe a tablespoon that I spread on the top of it. And stuff like that to me is good and it's delicious. So I could eat that. I'm not about to eat a piece of chicken with no salt and pepper on it. Like, that's just not the type of life I'm going to live if I'm trying to really take care of this body. And so I had to be realistic about what my goals are, and with me truly loving the body that I have, taking care of the body that I have looks like. And even when it comes to your mind, are you taking care of your mind? Are you feeding it just junk all day and saying, I don't know why I'm in this rut. I don't know why I'm so, you know, the D word. I don't want to say it on here because it might trigger something. And there might be people that are struggling with it, and I don't want to give no power to it. So if you are really struggling emotionally, you got to make sure that you feed your brain the stuff that is really helping you. Feed your brain the Bible, like read the word so that the word can give you strength in your weakness, so that you can call on God and know and have a few words in your repertoire or whatever that you can just go back and be like, oh yeah, God said that I'm more precious than rubies. I don't have to forget that. God said that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. When you remember those things, it'll help you when you're going through something. And then also seek counseling. Like, I definitely believe in going to go see a therapist and a counselor, because sometimes the Bible will help you with things that strengthen you in your weakness when it comes to emotional turmoil that you had through generational curses. But then therapy can help you through generational trauma. Those techniques that they have, the things that they're teaching you, is something that God placed on the inside of them to help you with. So you just have to make sure that you do the things that are helping you in your mind be able to think better, so that you're not constantly thinking down on yourself, so that you're not constantly beating up on yourself for something that sometimes you just can't control. Sometimes you do need extra help. And when God is giving you extra help, you have to take it. Don't be like, oh no, I got it. I'm going to do it by myself. Like, you really got to say, okay, I need help in this moment. I need to go schedule an appointment with a counselor. I need to go be in my word and in church and Bible study and all these places around people who love me, because this is the moment that you need it. You got to really, when God says he sends a person to you to help you, take the help. Like, you ain't got to do it by yourself. You do not have to put that cape on and be trying to act like you can do everything alone by yourself. Like, yeah, you might be alone, but you're not lonely. And also, since you're not lonely, God is sending you a person to help you. So when that person comes along and says, hey, can I help you with this? Don't be like, oh no, I got it by myself, because you want to floss on other people and act like you're doing good. No, really be doing good and accept the help. Like, if someone is trying to help you, say, okay, yes, I would love if you could help me in this moment. Or, yeah, okay, thank you so much. Like, be appreciative, take the help, because God sends people for a reason. You closing doors that God opened for you because you're like, oh, maybe God doesn't want me to be successful. God wants you to be happy in your life. He's not sitting around trying to make your life miserable because you think the struggle is the only thing that's Christian. Like, no, when you are really prosperous, and that can look like you just being fulfilled emotionally, it's coming from God. It's not just like God's like, yeah, just be sad the rest of the days of your life because you're Christian. No, he wants you to live a life full of abundance, a full of prosperity, a life that is beyond your wildest dreams. But you have to believe it. You have to know that you deserve better and actually accept it better. Don't just settle because everyone around you is settling. If everybody around you settling, get some new friends. Like, you need people around you that's going to lift you up, and you need to lift other people up. This is not a one-sided thing. You have to be willing to do the things that you want to receive. If you want men, you want to be in a good relationship, and I'm not trying to tell guys what to do, but men, if you want to be in a good relationship with a woman that's going to treat you right, then you got to treat her right. You're not just going to treat her like trash and then expect her to be like all happy and healthy and treat you good. And women, if you want a really good man, you have to be a really good woman. You have to say, okay, I'm going to do the things that I need to do and focus on myself so that I can be all of the things that God intended for me to be. When you try to do something to impress somebody else, it's just making you look. I hate saying this word, but I can't think of any other word that I can use in this moment. Desperate. And so I said it quick because I ain't wanted to hurt too bad. So it really does look bad, because when you really truly love yourself, you're not seeking approval from anybody else. You don't need somebody else's yes, amen, whatever else in order to feel good about yourself. Do compliments make you feel good? Maybe they do make you feel good, but also you shouldn't need it to survive. That should just be an added bonus, like a cherry on top of the ice cream. Like, if you an ice cream person and you got like a banana boat with like the ice cream and the sprinkles, and then somebody just add a cherry on top. Like that's just a little something extra that's good to you. That's how being in a relationship or all the things that God adds in your life should be. When He adds another person, like a friend, or when He adds a man for women or women a man, then it's just an extra bonus. That's something that just, it's like my life is already a blessing and it's already good, but man, God, you did your thing with this. Like, you know, brought this brother in here that's really showing up and showing out and treating me the way that you intended for me to be treated. I already love my life. I already was traveling. I already was doing all the things I wanted to do. I already went after my dreams. I'm already going towards my dream. And then you add this blessing in my life. And it becomes a blessing because you are already on track in your life. It's a burden when you have to try to struggle to get yourself straight and focus on another person. People don't tell you this, but when you get in a relationship, you got to start splitting your time. You don't have you don't have 12 hours to work on yourself when you're in a relationship. You probably got 8 hours and then 4 hours for another person or something. So you really have to take the time that God has given you to really work on yourself and really become the best version of you that you can possibly be. I know it sounds cliche, everybody says it on all the videos, but it's so true. When you work on yourself, it makes it that much better when you meet somebody, because then you don't feel like they're like the prize or the trophy and you just a piece of trash over here. No, you feel like a trophy sitting on the shelf next to this other trophy. Like both of y'all feel equal. You both feel like you're bringing something to the to I had to use another cliche, to the table. You feel like you bringing something to the table, and it feels good knowing that you are well deserving of someone that treats you well because you are trying your best to be a better person. So focus on being the best that you can and stay true to God. Like I know it's not always cool when you go different places and people be like, "Oh, here she go talking about God again." And you don't have to do it by saying a scripture. You can do it by your attitude. Maybe you start treating people better. You don't have to treat people like a piece of trash just to be acting like the world, like, or trying to prove something. You could really treat people with kindness and common decency and courtesy so that people can see the Christ like in you. They don't have to see it by you saying, "Oh, I'm more precious than rubies." You could tell yourself that. But when you go and you help somebody that's older that needs help with their card at a grocery store, they can see that you have Christ in you. When you see somebody who's hurting or they're going through something and you ask them if they're okay, you really look them in their eyes and you really truly care about how they're feeling, not just doing it to flaws, but you really truly care about somebody else. They can tell that you're a Christian, that you really about that God life. When you really truly humble yourself and you really go seek seeing people, like really truly seeing them and being concerned about them and being selfless, that's real true self-love. You can tell you really love yourself because you have something to give to somebody else. It's not always about going to a spa, although that's nice. It's not always about saying or quoting a word from the Bible. It's about your actions. How are you treating yourself and how do you treat other people? And when it comes down to it, are you willing to give up something that is your idol for God? If your answer was no before, I hope that you work on it and you get rid of that thing so you can be fully sold out for God, because I'm telling you, God got your back like you ain't never imagined. There's stuff that happens in my life and I'll be like, how in the world? Then I'll be like, oh yeah, that's God. Oh yeah, I forgot we here. And so God really be doing it. And we be underestimating God because we're so used to falling on other people, like depending on people who let us down in the past. But God will never let you down. He always got your back. He's always going to be there for you. And even when times get hard, He can be your strength and your weakness. You just have to seek after Him, and you have to try to figure out why that thing that you're idolizing is so important to you. Is it a childhood thing? Is it because you feel like that gives you temporary fulfillment? Because it's not going to have longevity like God does. Really figure out deep down inside, why is that thing so important to me? And for me, it was because, I'm going to tell the truth right now. It was because I had been broke one time and I just did not ever want to go back to being broke. And so I started idolizing wanting money instead of just having money as a bonus in my life. So money was becoming an idol. And I know I said money is not always an idol, but for this case, it was. And so God really showed me what, even if I didn't have it, would I still want to be following Him? And the answer, of course, was yes. But it took a while because I had to, it was a struggle. I was like, I'm a single mom. I really got to try to figure this thing out. And God was like, I need to know that I'm the most important thing in your life. And He is. And He always will be. And it might be difficult for me, or it might be hard to let go of some of the things that I idolized or that you idolize. But know that God is more important than anything else. And He is going to cover you. Like, you're not going to just be out here on a limb by yourself. God's going to make sure He sends people in your life, and He's going to make sure that everything that you need, He will provide for you. He is Jehovah Jireh, your provider. You don't have to ever feel like you're going to go without anything, because God will always provide all of your needs. So love yourself, love God first, focus on getting rid of idols,